Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mathilde, I'm a French beginner knitter, and today we're going to talk about everything I knit in 2023. So if you're new here, welcome, I hope you enjoy. As I said, I am French. I live near Paris where I work. I am hoping to move soon, but yeah, I still live near Paris, so I try to show a bit of my Parisian life, although I don't get out much. But yeah, I do try to show you a bit of France if I can here on the channel, and I do monthly podcast in which I show you whatever I'm currently knitting on, any finished objects, you know, yarn acquisitions and stuff like that. But yeah, and if you're not new here, thank you for joining again. I hope you're well. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. And yeah, like the video if you enjoy it. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. So I started to really knit at the beginning of the year. I started with a knitted flat sweater, which I'll show you in a moment. And then I knit on another sweater that was a bit more complicated, so it took me a while to get through it. I do have some gift knits that I've already given, so I won't be able to show you them here, but I'll put some pictures on the screen, and as always everything will be linked down below. But if I've missed anything or if you have any questions, please ask in the comments, and I will either add them to the description box if I've missed anything, or just answer. I try to reply to every comment, so yeah, feel free to leave one. So I guess let's just dive straight into the first garment of the year. I'll go through them chronologically, but I think I'll do that with the start date and not the end date of the garment. So whenever I started the sweater is when I'll talk about it. So this is actually going to be annoying. So this is, don't laugh, but this is my first sweater. This is the Switch sweater by Olivengronn, so it is a kit. I wanted to knit with a kit first. At the end of 2022, I knit a baby cardigan for my baby niece at the time, which actually I think she never wore because it was a bit of a weird shape, and also because I had knitted it for a 6-month size, and when I gave it to her she was already 6 months and she was too big for it, but that's okay. But then I didn't really want to jump into another pattern. I don't think I knew about Ravelry yet, and I wasn't watching any YouTube knitting podcaster at the time, so yeah, the knitting community was a bit of a mystery to me at that time, so I just bought a Olivengronn kit and knit this. So there are two things that are kind of wrong about it. I've actually never worn this garment, so that's a bit of a shame. Two reasons for that. The first one is the fit. It's very, very big. This is a very oversized sweater. I don't know if it's the pattern or if it's my gauge, maybe that wasn't correct, or I think knitting a garment flat, now that I've knitted garments you know, in the round, you can't try them on as you're knitting it, so I think that's also kind of why the fit isn't correct. I've actually not wet blocked this at all, which you can probably tell. I think if I wet block this, it might be a little bit better, but it would be even bigger, and I already think it's too big. And also it's too warm. This is very chunky, and the weather here is not that cold, or at least, yeah, even at home, we don't usually put the heating on. If we don't, it's like 14 degrees inside, which is really cold. So when it's 14, we do put the heating on, and then it's about like 17 degrees, which is still quite cold. So I'm usually wearing a sweater at all times home. But even this, I just, yeah, to be fair, I haven't tried it on in a while, so maybe now I would like it. But yeah, there's no short row shaping in the back, so it's a bit of an awkward fit. I'm not as much of a fan of chunky knits, and it's obviously, since this is my first garment, it's not the prettiest. I like the color of the yarn. It's like a beige. This is Olivengronn Crazy Sexy Wool, I think. In the colorway, actually I can find it here. This is in the colorway Sandtrooper Beige. This was knit with 8mm needles, I think. I really enjoyed the process of knitting it. Didn't enjoy the seaming up. Yeah, I think you can tell that it's not really well done. Although right now I can't find. I think this is where it got wrong. Also, my cat likes to eat wool, especially cashmere. He loves cashmere. So I have to hide all of my knits from him, otherwise they just get eaten. And as you can probably tell, he's tried a bit here, and like I think at the back here, he got into my wardrobe. So now I have to be extra careful with all of my other knits, because this one I don't mind as much because I don't wear it, even though it's a shame because, well, it was still kind of expensive. But the other ones I love, so I don't want him to eat anything. But yeah, the color is very high, and I don't really love the bind off on it. Yeah. But for a first sweater, I think it's not too bad. Obviously, it could have been better. This is knit in size 1. I'll try to include some b-rolls of me actually wearing the garment so that you can see. If I put it, which I tend to do, if I took it in my jeans, it just kind of bunches up at the back and creates a really weird fabric. So yeah, I could probably just wear it at home, which I might try. I'll try to wet block it and then wear it here to see, but yeah, it's not my favorite, but this is my first sweater. And then I started to knit an Oslo hat. So I don't have it with me because this was a gift for my nephew. So I knitted in the like baby, not baby size, but like junior size, I think. I knitted in Sunday by Sandnes Garn, holding it double in the colorway Ice Blue, which is a really pretty blue. I only used 2 skeins or 2 balls of this, so that was really good. I did buy a third one because I think in the pattern she says that you need like 150 grams, but I didn't even use it, so I have one full skein left, which I'm not sure what I will use it for, but I will definitely use it at some point. And I completed this in about like 10 days maybe, so that was a really quick knit and it was really enjoyable. I'll put some pictures here. I don't think he actually wears it, so might not knit another garment for my sister's kids. I mean, I probably will because I love giving gifts, but we shall see. But yeah, it's a lovely pattern. I've actually knit another Oslo hat, which I was supposed to give. It was a gift for Christmas, and I've actually not finished it. So I love the pattern, but I think it depends on the yarn you choose and the needles you choose to use, because yeah, the second one's just really dragged on, and I haven't actually finished it. So that's the Oslo hat. That was my first accessory, and it was really good to learn the decreases. It was also the first time I knit in the round. So yeah, it taught me a lot of things. And then I knit another Petite Knit pattern. I started the Everyday Socks by Petite Knit. So I actually have them with me. These are the Everyday Socks. As you can probably tell, they don't look that... Oop, got the thing in here. They don't actually like they've got much wear yet, and that's because I finished them in October, at the end of October. So that was a long knit. I started these on the 22nd of March, and I finished them on the 28th of October. There's one main reason for that. The reason is that I used a hand-dyed yarn. I think it's hand-dyed. It's a commercial yarn, but I think it's hand-dyed anyway, and it is this Sysleriget sock yarn in the colorway Wild Garden, which is really, really stunning. But it was my first time having a hank of skein of yarn, and I didn't have a yarn winder or a yarn swift. I think that's what it's called. I didn't have anything like that, and I think even then in March I wasn't really watching any YouTube podcaster, except maybe I discovered Well Loved Knits, Bethany from Well Loved Knits at the time, but I don't think she used a lot of hand-dyed yarn, so I didn't really know how you were supposed to unravel, well, not unravel, but like open it up and wind it up. And so I made a mess of that yarn. It was horrendous to use because I had to cut the yarn in order to be able to wind it up in tiny little skeins. So to knit socks, it was really, really annoying. Also, it used a lot of techniques that I hadn't tried before. So it's a short row heel, which as you can see isn't very neat, since this was my maybe first time doing short rows, and yeah, it's on 2.5 millimeter needles, and it just takes a while. I'm quite a slow knitter, and I got really discouraged by all of these things, but I ended up finishing them. They're not exactly the same size, but when I wear it, I don't really mind. I am currently knitting up a second pair of socks, which is not the same pattern, and it's the same yarn but in another colorway. It's the Blueberry Yogurt. I've not finished them either. They were also supposed to be gift knits. I'm never again doing fingering weight socks for other people, because it just takes a while, and it's difficult to stay motivated. But anyway, that's tangent. I love them, but I think I would prefer the leg. I think the length here to be a bit higher, because they do fall down a lot. But otherwise, they're really, really nice. They fit well, and I will definitely make other socks next year. And yeah, the pattern was clear. I think you can probably find other everyday socks pattern that are free, that are just as nice, to be fair. But yeah, and also this I've got quite large feet. I've got 41 euro size feet. European size feet. So this took a while. But I think if I were to do like smaller socks, they would go by much faster and that would be a bit better. But I do enjoy them and I've worn them like a couple of times and I really like it. They keep my feet really warm. Might go turn on the light because it's only 2 p.m. but it looks like it's about to be night time. So apologies for that. Couldn't find a better time to film. Okay, so I turned on a few lights and I hope the lighting will be a bit better, but we shall see. So then I started knitting on a garment and that was my Marseille Sweater by Petite Knit as well, which I started to knit on the 9th of April of this year and I only finished it on the 30th of September. So this is it. It's lovely, but I don't think this was the best choice for a second sweater to knit and the first sweater to knit in the round. This is obviously a top-down drop shoulder design with a 1x1 rib neck that you fold down. It's got stripes and it's got about, I would say like 7 centimeters of edge of ribbing at the bottom of the sleeves and the bottom of the body. There were a lot of new techniques to learn. The Judy's Magic casts on, the short rows. I hadn't really got a handle on it with the socks. So I had to try to unravel 3 times and start again 3 times to be able to like fully understand how that worked. I'm fairly proud of how it looks. It's not very, very neat, but it's okay. It's got one mistake here, but otherwise I think it's fine. I don't love the look of the Judy's Magic cast on here. I don't think it's the neatest, but I think on the pattern photos it's the same, so I don't think it's me doing it wrong. It's just I think it could look better. Yeah, and then I did other mistakes. Obviously I had the wrong number of stitches for the neck. I had an uneven number, so I've got like double rib, oh not double rib, double pearl stitches. Yeah, got double pearl stitches here instead of a 1x1 rib as the rest of the color. And then I picked up the stitches on the wrong side here, so it looks a bit funny, whereas here it looks fine. Otherwise I think it's fine. I used the recommended yarn, which was Double Sunday by Sandnes Garn in the colorway Whipped Cream and Stovet Olivengronn for the green. I like it because it's not itchy at all. However, as you can see, I've not depeeled it and it just peels a lot. So that's a bit annoying because it means I have to depeel it a lot in order for it to look nice. Otherwise it just looks really, really not gross, but doesn't look as pretty. But ever since so it took me a while to finish because I took a break actually of a couple of months in between. I think from like June to the end of August I didn't knit on it at all. I don't know exactly how long it took me to knit, but a while. I think also I struggled with the stripes, but the pattern itself was really nice. I like that Petite Knit has videos that you can watch to for instructions if you're struggling. I think one thing that I struggled with the pattern was for the Judy's Magic cast on, you're supposed to, so she tells it to cast on, for example, 100 stitches, right? But actually you need to, if you do the Judy's Magic cast on, you need to double that number of stitches. And it's not explicitly said in the pattern, and if you've never done the Judy's Magic cast on, you can't know that. Even on the videos that she gave you, and on other videos on the Judy's Magic cast on, they say, you know, you have to cast on this number of stitches, but it doesn't say that you have to double it. So I think it was a bit confusing, and I had to try to do it a lot before I finally found, I think it was a French podcaster who was talking about Marseille Sweater and talking about how you have to double the number of stitches that you cast on. Before I was like, oh, okay, so that's why I don't have that much stitches, because otherwise it was just really, really weird. But for first circular pattern, I think it's nice, and I really enjoy wearing it. I think I've talked about everything I wanted for this pattern. I knit the size S, and I think I made a swatch, which is probably this one, but as you can see I've not blocked it, but I think it worked fine because the fit is really nice. I did shorten the length a bit, just because I wanted it to be a bit cropped, but yeah, that's it. And then the next sweater that I started, so that was when I really started to knit, like almost every day. And I cast on the Monday Sweater Junior, so that is a gift knit that I've given to my niece. So I don't have it with me, but I'll put up some pictures of it. And I think that what really got me into knitting, I really, really enjoyed that knit. It is another Petite Knit pattern. As you'll be able to tell, this year I've really only knit Petite Knit or my favorite things knitwear, except for two other projects and like my current whips. Otherwise, as a beginner, I thought that Petite Knit had really stunning patterns that were quite easy to follow. Now I know that there are a lot of other designers that have really easy patterns to follow. So I was a bit worried at first, but now that I've started a couple of other patterns by other designers, I know that they're just as comprehensive. But maybe it's also because I'm a bit less of a beginner, I don't know. But anyway, so I don't have it with me, but it is a top-down raglan design. The Monday Sweater Junior is a top-down raglan with a folded neck, 1x1 rib. It's got German chopped row shaping, and I think it's got quite a long rib detail at the bottom of the sleeves and the body, but I don't remember how long. It's a bit oversized. I knit the size 3 to 4 years because I knit this for my niece, who is about a year now. She's a bit older, a year and 3 months old, but I wanted her to have something to grow into. And so because the first cardigan that I knit, which I mentioned before, that was last year, she actually never wore it, and I wanted her to be able to enjoy this one a bit more. And actually, I think it won't last her that long. Maybe it's because of my gauge, I don't know. At least she has worn it a few times now, and it's really, really stunning. And every time my family sees it on her, they are like, wow, that sweater is stunning, and I'm really proud. I think this is the first sweater that I didn't actually have a lot of problems in. I think just in the first round of increases for the raglan, I got the increases wrong, the left and right I messed up, but afterwards it was just smooth sailing. So I really love that pattern. I knit it in Sunday by Sandnes Garn in the colorway Marinebla 5882, and which is, oh, I don't have the label anymore, but it's about, I think it's 100% extra fine merino. And I paired it with the Tynn silk mohair by Sandnes Garn as well in the color Deep Marine, which is 5581. Oh, actually I knitted in the 2 to 3 years, not 3 to 4 years. So that's a lovely pattern. I knit this in 20 days, which is kind of wild, even though it's a baby knit or like a child knit. As I said, I'm quite a slow knitter, but I think I had like a week off of work in August, so maybe that's why. And that's when I started to knit on multiple projects at the same time. So that was my however long knit. And then obviously this was August, and I really wanted to knit at least one. Actually, I forgot one, and that's because I've not been able to wear it either, and that's because I have to fix something. So I've actually never shown this one either on the podcast, and this is my fluffy crop top by Levitate. And as you can see, the bottom bind off is too tight. I can't put it on. Basically, it's just, yeah, it's too tight. This is a brioche top down crop top with this really pretty armhole. This is brioche, and I'm a beginner knitter. I didn't know that brioche was hard. I did not know how hard it was. I think I learned about how difficult brioche is and how many people are scared of it a month later. And I can confirm that it is hard, but it's not that hard. I think the hardest part is when you mess something up. In order to fix it, it's really difficult. I had to frog this 3 times before I could understand how the increases worked, and I had to unravel the whole thing because I couldn't pick up stitches if I dropped them or anything. So that's why I still haven't fixed the bottom. I'm scared that I will not be able to just pick up the stitches again. There's also this weird line. I think you can see it here because I put a lifeline in, but I don't know how to put lifelines. This is a hard word to say. Lifelines in, so you can kind of see it, and I've blocked it and it did not really go away, but anyway, I've not worn it yet, so it doesn't really matter. I think it would be stunning if I could actually wear it, so I think it's going to be like one of the first things that I do in 2024 is to fix this so that I can wear it in the summer or like even in the spring. That would be really nice. The pattern was easy to follow and that's just because I'm a beginner, and sometimes when I struggle to understand a pattern, I have to take a break from it. And I was really eager to just finish this, and also because I had unraveled it 3 times, I had kind of a weird time understanding what the next steps were. I think it was after the increases, but now I think I'm fine. As you can see, this is already, I've not worn it and this is going, so might have to fix that as well. This is knit using 2 strands of soft silk mohair by Knitting for Olive in the colorway Dusty, let me check, in the colorway Dusty Olive. This was using 4 skeins, I think, but I only used, I have a bit left. I think I've got 24 grams left, so about 1 full skein, but you knitted double-stranded, I think. Did I say that already? I don't remember. It feels really lovely. I don't think I would find this itchy against my skin, but again, I've not been able to put it on, so I don't actually know. It's a lovely piece, and I love brioche. It's so fluffy and squishy and lovely. I wish I could wear this. I think I would definitely try to knit something else in brioche, maybe a full sweater, but again, it was still quite hard, so I would have to be careful. This does have a few mistakes in it, except for like the lifeline and everything. I think here you can kind of see, don't know what happened here, but for a beginner knitter, I feel like that's not too bad of a job, except for the bind off. I did a regular bind off because I think that's what she recommends in the pattern, but my bind off is really tight, as you can see. And so I think now I just do Italian bind off everywhere, even if it takes longer, just because I know I don't want another repeat of this. So I wish I would have just done Italian bind off. I knew about the Italian bind off by that point because I think I had used it for another project. I don't remember which one, and I just didn't know how good it was. But anyway, this I knit pretty quickly as well. I started on the 14th of July and finished on the 29th of July. And I was really sad about the bind off and the fact that I couldn't wear it, that I didn't fix it, but that's okay. So the next pattern that I knit was the Camisole number 4 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I started it on the 16th of August and I finished it on the 4th of September. And this is what it looks like. It's not the neatest and it's a bit crumpled just because of the way it was folded in my wardrobe, but I think it looks really nice. I really love it. It's a bit short. I could have definitely done a few more rows, but I was really eager to just wear it. I think it would need another block because of these here. They do go like fold inside, which when I wear it is a bit annoying, but otherwise I really love the fit. This looks complicated, but it's just stitches and purls, knit stitches and purl stitches, knits and purls. I used the recommended yarn, which is Pure Silk by Knitting for Olive in the colorway Dusty Artichoke. It's a really popular color, but actually I don't think I love it that much. I thought it would be a tiny bit darker, but it's fine. I think it's still really lovely. I've got 30 grams left. I think this is knit double-stranded as well. I've not done the best job of weaving in the ends. You can kind of see them like when I put it like that, but when I wear it I don't think you can see. It's lovely. The only thing is I don't really love my arms, so when I wear it, I don't think it's the best look on me, but that's not the fault of the pattern, that's just me not liking that. But the pattern was really clear. This was my first time having a pattern by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I really enjoyed it. Again, this is knit in the size S. This is usually the size that I knit my garments in, because my bust circumference is about 90 centimeters. And yeah, this is really nice. I think this is along with the Monday Sweater Junior, but this wasn't for me. But this was my, like, the thing that made me really want to wear hand knit garments, because by that time I hadn't finished my Marseille sweater, so I didn't really have any. The next pattern I knit was another one by my favorite things knitwear, and it is the Levitate Wrap. I started it on the 17th of September, so right after, a bit after I finished the camisole, and I finished it on the 19th of November, and it took me a while to finish just because of the double knitting, which takes a long time. But this is knit in, I think it's 5 or 6 millimeter needles, so it's quite a quick knit. This is a top-down wrap cardigan with double knitted edges and a really lovely double knitted wrap. This and folded cuffs. I used the recommended yarn, which is Eco Soft by Sysleriget yarns in the colorway E8S, which I do have one skein left, but I'm not going to go and pick it up. But it's a lovely worsted or iron yarn that is actually really soft, and you pair it with Trio 1 by Sysleriget in the colorway Chestnut, which is a lace weight yarn. I don't remember what the yarn contains, I'm sorry, but I've already talked about it in my podcast where I talk about this wrap. This was a lovely knit. I really enjoyed the process of it. I think the pattern lacked a bit of clarity, but when I went on YouTube, I found a couple of videos, like a process vlogs that were really helpful, and a couple of Ravelry pages that were really helpful as well. I've linked them already in my other podcasts where I talk about this pattern, so I won't talk about them now. But it was a really lovely knit. I think I could have done with a bit more length in the body, but again, I was a bit lazy and I thought it would be fine. And I thought the double knitted hem would give me a bit more length. So it is a bit cropped and it does kind of rise up when I sit down. But I actually kind of like the look of it cropped, because my waist is a bit tinier. It's a bit more tiny than my hips. It gives me a nice body shape, I think. I wear it a lot. It does kind of peel a bit. Don't know if you can see that. I've not depeeled it at all, so that's a bit annoying, but it's fine. I have to do that with my non-hand knitted sweaters anyway, so I just have to find a better like electric shaver, because the one that I use either has lost some battery or is just not the best. But yeah, this is, I think, my favorite knit of the whole year. If the double knitted edges didn't take me as long, I think I would do it again. But the double knitted edges took me like 3 weeks and really hurt my wrist, so maybe I'll try it again, but definitely not in the next couple of months. And then I knit 2 gifts that I've not with me. Both are the Sophie Shawl by Petite Knit. One I knit in following the pattern. I knit with the recommended yarn, which is Eco Cashmere Vintage in the colorway 511, I think, but I'll put everything on the screen. I knit the size medium, so it uses 3 skeins of the Eco Cashmere Vintage, and I realized when I was like 3/3, no, 2/3 through the pattern that I had used the wrong size needle. So instead of using 5mm, I was using 4.5mm. So the shawl ended up being smaller than the medium sized, but I think it was fine. The recipient of the gift, I think, really enjoyed it, so I'm happy with that. It took me less than a month to knit. I started on the 7th of October and finished on the 18th of November. So that was quite an early gift. That was a Christmas gift, but I started quite early, which I'm happy I did, because the gift knits that I started in December I didn't finish. So anyway, and then I did another one, the Sophie Shawl, but kind of like the Sophie Scarf version. So I knit one in the One Merino yarn by Wool and the Gang in the colorway Lilac Powder, and I used only one skein of that. I think it could have done with a bit more, but I didn't want to have like 40 grams left of another ball, because I had 2 skeins of that yarn. So that is another gift knit. I knit this in 5 days. I started on the 20th of October and finished on the 25th. And yeah, I enjoyed the pattern. It's really simple. Don't have to think much about it, although you do have the increases and the decreases to think about. But I just had a notebook which I had noted like the rows that I had to do the decreases or increases on, and I just, whenever I finished one row, I just crossed it off. So that meant that I knew when I had to do the row with the increases or the decreases. So it was just thoughtless knitting, basically. The last project I have to show you, I finished last night. These are my Claudia Gloves. This is a pattern by Awesome Makes, who has a YouTube channel. I really love the look of the fingerless mittens, or fingerless gloves, and I really wanted to try to make a pair for myself, but actually I think I'm gonna gift them to someone this weekend, because I've got a lot of the yarn left. This is using 1 skein of hand-dyed yarn by a French hand dyer called Le Bruit des Aiguilles. It is in the colorway Autumn is Falling, and it is the 85-15 like Merino's fingering sock yarn, basically. I think it's got 15% nylon in it. And I paired it with 1 strand of Alpaca 1 by Sysleriget, which is 100% alpaca, and it creates this really lovely fabric. It's still a bit damp, so they don't look the best, but they look really lovely. I'll try them on even though it's damp, so that might not be the best. I think the reason why I'm gonna gift knit them first is because I've got a lot of yarns left. I only used like 11 grams of the hand-dyed yarn, and I don't even know how much of the alpaca one, but I've got probably like 40 grams left. But also because, as you can see, they are tiny. I did a gauge swatch and it was fine, but I think for myself I've got quite big hands. Not big, but there we go. It's damp, so it's not the best feeling, but they look fine. I think for myself I would make them a tiny bit bigger, so I don't know whether I would just add like a couple of stitches to the pattern or if I would change needle size. I'll see next year, but otherwise I think the pattern was really lovely, really well detailed. It had links to videos to help you for example, for the twisted rib. did it have a video for the twisted rib? No, maybe not, but it had videos like to avoid a gap for the thumb and other videos that I didn't watch, so I don't remember, even though I just finished it last night. But anyway, these took me 5 days. I cast them on. These were my Christmas Eve cast on. That was supposed to be for me, so I really wanted to start this tradition of starting a gift knit, or not a gift knit, a knit for myself on Christmas Eve, but I'm gonna give them away, but that's okay. And I finished them yesterday, so that was the 29th of December. So yeah, they still have to go back on the blocking mats, but these are my final knits of 2023. Actually, I think that's kind of wild, because when I thought about making this video, I was like, I'm not gonna have lots to show, especially since I've not finished like 2 gift knits that I wanted to make, and I have like 2, 3, maybe 3 other projects for myself on my needles at the moment that I have not finished. So I'm really happy with that, and I think as a beginner knitter it's not too bad. I think I will definitely be making a lot of progress next year on my knitting. I hope I will. I really want to try new techniques and new designs, but I'll talk more about that in another video about my knitting goals for next year. But I'm really happy with all of that, and I hope you enjoyed. If you're a beginner knitter, don't be discouraged by either messing up with something, having to unravel. It's really frustrating, but if you keep going, it's really, really rewarding to finish a knit. Try to find an easy first pattern to knit your first garment. I know that Petite Knit has like the novice sweater, the novice cardigan. Even her no frills sweater is fairly easy. Handmade by Florence has made this, I think it's called the step-by-step sweater, and she's made a video as well. So you can find a lot of designers that have fairly easy garments to knit as a first garment. And if you're not a beginner knitter, please give me all of your advice. I'm still learning so much, and I love watching other podcasters to be able to understand more about knitting. I don't have a lot of knitting, don't have much of a knitting community around me. My grandmother knits, or knitted, she used to knit. She doesn't anymore because she can't see very well and her hands hurt fast. But I actually find myself teaching her a lot about what I'm doing, because she didn't knit in the round, she knitted flat. She doesn't know a lot of techniques that I know, like some bind-off techniques or like Italian bind-off. I don't think she used a lot of German short rows because she knit in the flat, so she didn't have to, and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny. I find it funny, but I really love talking about knitting with her. But I think I've got a lot more to learn, and I'm really excited to learn more, and I hope you will join along with me to learn a few more things next year. So I'll see you next year. Have a very happy new year, and yeah, bye!